Shambho Mahadev Mahadev Mahadev. Om Namah Shivaya. Samkalpa. Sankalpo Vava Manaso Bhuvanyada. Sankalpa is greater than the mana, mind. That's what we are saying. What is Sankalpa? We have gone through some of the chapters earlier where the Upanishad explained he willed and the Agni came. He willed, the earth came. He willed, things like that. Willed, see. That's that will. Yes. Not an ordinary willpower what we are talking about, even though it can be compared to a willpower. Yes, it is a willpower, no doubt. Will. Sankalpa. Samkalpaha. Even though it is a kalpana, vichara, expectation, kalpana, imagination, or whatever you can call it. But it is a sankalpa, it is not a kalpana. No? What is a sankalpa? With a firm determination, where you are absolutely sure of something, you are enforcing that powerful thought into the flow of thoughts constantly flowing to the mana from the udana, which is stored, constantly being flown there and influences the mind very firmly without taking the assistance of the decision of the indriyas is called the sankalpa. So it is not a simple imagination. Tomorrow I will become like that, not that. So you should have a difference between, you should understand the difference, not just doing something or some other thing where we generally, people talk about the sankalpa. Okay, one must become wealthy, one must become this, one must have peaceful life, one must have peace of mind. Asking for that is all. They are all what? They are all not sankalpa. They are all imaginary. They are all requests made. They are all requirements made. See, whatever today people are talking about, or we in general society, when we is talking about sankalpa is what? It is his personal requirement. That's all. Do me this favor, and we name them as sankalpa because it has a similarity to the process of sankalpa. That is why it is known as sankalpa. It has a similarity, but it is not sankalpa. But what is sankalpa then? Sankalpa should be the truth, established truth. Sankalpa should be for the purpose of establishment of truth. One is that, but that should be the established truth. The cognizant. We talk about the recognition of things, whereas the cognition of it, sankalpa. And it should be a firm, proven decision. It is not result oriented, but it is a conviction and it is a transformation. It is not result oriented. It's not that an action will produce a reaction. No. Here what we expect in the normal way, when I when I have a sankalpa of asking for something, I must get something else on behalf of that. How can it be a sankalpa? It is only a kalpana. It's a vichara. It can be a thought, it can be vichara, or it can be a desire. I think that's the appropriate word for that. It's a desire, that's all. Put it in a different manner. Why? Because it is happening in a different situation and circumstance with something else is what people misunderstand the Sankalpa. But here, Bhagavan says the will. The Sankalpo Vava Manaso Bhuyanyada Vai Sankalpayate Atha Manastattva Vacha Mespati Tamu Namni Radhapi Namni Mantra Ekam Bhavanti Mantreshu Karmani. Mantra Evam Bhavanti Mantreshu Karmani. When the mantra constantly chanted by the mind, it should turn into the mantra. Manana trayate iti mantra, not anything else. Repeated by the mana. In order to make the mind repeat it, the mind should not have any desire or expectation of result from that. Then only the mana will repeat. Then only it will become a mantra. Then you might ask, what are we doing then? We are doing a lot of mantras. Sahasranamam, not one or two. We are chanting. What is that mantra? You are chanting through the Vaikhari. Not from the mana. Whereas here he says, Manana trayate iti mantra. That constantly, if manana trayate iti mantra, in the sense, that constantly projects from the mind. It is not an intentional characteristic. How are you doing things? How are the thoughts coming in your mind? How are the thoughts are projected from the mind? Not by an initiative done by you, it automatically happens. Is it not? Trayate. So manana trayate. The mana which is repeated by the mana is called mantra. Not which is repeated by your mouth is mantra. That's why he specifically said, Manana trayate iti mantra. That automatically the mind should be keeping on chanting. No use of taking the mala and doing like this and chanting through the mouth and the mind is working somewhere else. Once you have practiced the mantra, your mind is never on the mantra. Never. Because it is by heart. The by-hearted mantra keeps on do so many things, you see, and mantra will keep on going. That is not a classification of mantra. Have you seen pujaris? I am not criticizing them, please don't misunderstand me. I am discussing them. In the process of chanting, he'll be collecting the flowers, he'll be taking this one, he'll be giving an instruction through the finger, like this for others, assistants and all that. Om Bhurbo Satsatsadurvarenyam Bhargo Devasimi Dhyana Prachodayat. These are all happening in this. Mantra is going on. Am I right or wrong? Is it a mantra? Is it mantra? It is not. You have seen most of the pujaris do this, you see. No? They are only I don't blame them. Probably most of them or many of them today are not the right pujaris. They are only. It's a profession. It's a living for them. You see, that's all. So most of them they are living. So I can't blame them. So we can't count them as pujaris. The true pujari is the one who chants the mantras through the manner where there is no such actions are there. See, that's a pujari. Puja is pujaniya. The one who does the puja is pujaniya. You know that? The one who has a mind to do puja, he is pujaniya. Because he has a noble thought in him, so he is pujaniya. Representing that, do you know, in our Hindu Shastra, nowadays it is there or not, I don't know. Maybe somewhere it is existing. There are many occasions, old people, because those days transport and all were not there. They used to walk to Kashi, they used to walk to Rameshwaram, they used to walk to Badrinath and Kedarnath. And when they come back, the people who cannot go, everybody cannot go such distances, they go and touch their feet. Because this feet has already touched that place where the God is there. So let me do the arpana towards that, you see. This is a true puja, Puja, that's what I said. The one who does whether that fellow has really, whether he has gone for sightseeing or seeing the sight, I don't know. But anyway, the concept is that if he is a real pujari, touching him itself is great. That is why he becomes pujaniya. Do you understand what I am saying? There was, I think even today, some of the places, it is prevalent. Some old people still believe it. They feel, okay, you have traveled, at least by touching you. I will feel that I have gone there. Something. It's a representation, that's all. Fine. It is not whether it is right or wrong, let us not discuss this. It is his mental inclination towards it. He feels happy that, okay, the man who has come from there, let me touch him at least. He is pujaniya. Because he thought this man who has gone there, he is carrying the vibrations of the Lord, and let me touch him, thought of him is pujaniya. It's not. Forget about all of the facts. He is pujaniya. So you imagine, if a person goes somewhere in Tirtha and coming back and we have a mental aptitude to touch him and say that I have already gone to, he says that it is equivalent to or more or less similar to going to Badrinath or Kedarnath. If we can believe that, can we not believe a representative of Jnanam who is Brahman? He is a Brahma Sakshatkari and a Brahmajnani. Can we not believe it? If we can believe this, an ordinary person going and coming back, in all religions it is there. Even Muslims it is there now. When they go to Mecca and come back, they are considered to be supreme. I mean, some sort of a higher status in the society is given. You see, principle is same. No? If that can be accepted by you, he may not be knowing anything. He may not be knowing anything. He has just gone and come back. But still you accept him as that. If that is the case you can do, can you not accept a guru who is an embodiment of the Jnanam, who is a representation of the Brahman himself? He himself is a Brahman. Can you not? There the classification comes. No? It is because of the Jnanam. As I told you, it is because of the vision that you have, the eyes, the emotional eyes that you are looking with. You are only looking at the akara. No? You are not looking at the tattva which is hidden in the akara. What Bhagavan Krishna said to Arjuna? Hey Arjuna, tattvam should be worshipped. I am the tattva, I am the principle. That's why he said, I am the Kala Kuda Visha, I am the Halahal Visha. I am the nectar, I am A in the letter, I am Gayatri in the mantra, I am so and so, I am so and so. He is classifying. What does it mean? Tattva, principle of all the Brahma Tattvam is me, not the name of Vishnu, Krishna, no, things like that. It's not me. So the Tattva is me. So you should be worshipping that Tattva. But this can happen only for the Jnanis. So he is talking to Arjuna, so he is talking about it. In the Dhyana Marga and in the Jnana Marga, or in the Sannyasa Yoga, he is talking about it. That after Dhyana Marga, I think, after Dhyana Marga, he is telling Arjuna, principle, I am a principle. I am not an individual who is enclosed in this 2 hands and 2 legs and 1 heart and 1 liver and 2 kidneys. For some 1 kidney. I am not that. I am a principle which can be applied anywhere, which can be spread anywhere. So, Sarvavyapi. So what did I say about the... So what we are talking about that Tattva, and we are talking about the Sankalpa. So Sankalpa is that in the normal flow of the thought, when the mind is agitated, mind gets agitated because of the any thoughts which is flown to the mana is analyzed through the experiences that is being reverted back or fed back to the mana, and the analysis of that incident or of that thought is done through the experience of the indriyas by the mana and creates a result or not creating a result, whatever it is called agitation of the mind, because the mind has to be, that's a status where the mind is always agitated, mind is always in function, you see, where to analyze the thought. He is creating a result, He is creating, it's a laboratory, he is creating an experiment. He keeps on doing an experiment. He keeps on deriving results out of it. Keeps on, like a laboratory, keeps on doing an experiment, keeps on deriving the results out of it. Then what is Sankalpa? Sankalpa is that which is an established factor. Inserted into the thought, which is very powerful, because why it is powerful than the thought? The thought is only a cause which is coming into the laboratory, which is coming into the experimental field in order to confirm whether it is result oriented or not result oriented. So it is only a cause. It's not an effect. Effect comes only after the analysis is done by the mana. Alright? Is it not? Whereas the Sankalpa, as I told you, it's a firm conviction. Cognizant. It's a firm conviction that this is what I want the mana to do. There is no question of mind going into a process of analysis by the experiences of the Indriyas. There is no opportunity for the mana to have a choice of experimenting on that. Why? Because it is an ultimate truth and a result. It's called Sankalpa, which is included, inserted into the flow of thought, and that takes prominence of the mind. That influences mind. Normally mind influences the thought and analyze it. Here the Sankalpa influences the mind and make the mind concentrate on that only. Okay, is what is called the Sankalpa. The Sankalpa is that who wills it? Who does that? I said Sankalpa has to be inserted. Who does it? Who does it? How can one create a sankalpa which is absolutely a truth? Who can create a sankalpa and insert it in the thought flow of thoughts, which is the conviction, which is no analysis is required. That means an established fact. It's established. That means it has been experimented and experienced by someone else. Who is that someone else? Your own Atma and Antakarana. Antakarana is also involved. Mano Buddhi Ahankara, Chitta, is also involved in it. Why? Because due to the practice of it. How is it that who decides means? How does, okay, he is the one who is deciding factor. What is, so what have we discussed? What is it? What is Sankalpa? Right? Classification of Sankalpa. Who creates the Sankalpa? Second, identified. How does this creates this Sankalpa? Why not he does everything like that? If the Atma and the Antakarana is doing this, why not every time it does it so that we have no problem? It's only why only sometime when the initiative is taken. Who takes the initiative? How this characteristics of the initiative comes, and why it takes only sometimes or all the time after certain realization. Why all the people are not creating this sankalpa? As I told you, generally people are creating only desire, not sankalpa. How it is happening? Again, we come back to knowledge, jnanam. Only a jnani can do sankalpa. Very simple, isn't it? Only a jnani can do sankalpa. Jnanam in the sense that acquiring the jnanam is done by mana also, indriyas also. That's why I said the inner faculty which are known as the mano buddhi ahankara, that is the antakarana, is also involved in it. He should be tuned to accept and receive the fact of the sankalpa in the easy. There should be no resistance by the mana. When a resistance is created by the mana to accept the truth, then there will be agitation. Why? Because mind would independently like to analyze the fact which cannot be proved by the mana and the indriyas, and gets this agitation and will create a karma phala or a result by the mana totally different or opposite to the fact that it has been fed. Are you getting it? It can happen. If a mind is not prepared for that. So toning up of the mind is necessary. How? Through the jnanam. That's why even though I am talking Upanishad, I am talking the Tattva Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam and Tattva Jnanam, the listener's mind need not to accept it. When the listener doesn't accept it, he has an agitated mind. That's all. How is it possible? Is it right or wrong? If it is right, how is it right? These thoughts will bother them, and that's called agitation of the mind. And the mind will try to prove the truth out of it, whether it is right or wrong. Now you tell me, the Upanishadic principles which is not known, which is not in the periphery of the unliberated manner, whereas this is liberated thoughts, liberated knowledge, which is para vidya. This apara vidya, how can it know the para vidya? How can the mana know about the knowledge which is unknown to it, which is beyond the which is beyond which is beyond the barricades it has created, which has created the limitations itself. The mind is in the limited area, which mind is in the limitations. That limitations, how can it go into unlimited, or how can it prove the unlimited? It will only get fed up of thinking it and proving it. It will never get an answer. He will never get a right answer. He might get an answer which will mislead him to disaster. Because the mind can analyze only through the faculty of the chitta, intelligence that it has got. Not beyond that. Therefore, the mind should not get agitated when it is listening to this. Indriyas should not get agitated when it is listening to this. As I told you in the previous class, it will not entertain the mind like normally for any normal mind or indriyas will happen. But it will take the indriyas and mana into the Paramananda avastha. Satya Chitta Ananda. No? Is what they say. That Ananda avastha, which is Ananda avastha, neither sad, as I told you yesterday, how the muscles function and how the appearance changes, everything, I have detailed you how it is. That's called the Ananda avastha. When it is accepted by the mana and indriyas, it goes to the Ananda avastha, not that it recognizes, realizes, or it analyzes, or accepts or rejects. The question of all these things are not at all coming into the picture. It will reach into an Ananda avastha. Listening to Upanishad, my God, so beautiful it is, it automatically comes. This state, when the mana comes to that, mind is prepared to accept the inserted, included Samkalpa into its true sense. And what happens? And then what happens? Then the mind gets the layam into the Samkalpa, not the Samkalpa gets the layam into the mana. Mana gets the layam into the Samkalpa. Because that is the absolute truth. Yes, that is the higher. The lower one, the aparavidya, has to go into paravidya. That is a limitation, has to go to unlimited. Because limitation, not going, or it's not an action. It just happens. When there is a slope, when the water is water is thrown there, automatically it flows down towards the slope. Is not an effort done by anybody. It's through the gradient it happens. This gradient is provided between the unlimited and the limited. Limited will get absorbed into the unlimited automatically. It's not question of analyzing or accepting, because it doesn't require mind's permission for its intrusion. Because it's a conviction. It's an established fact. Mind is there for establishing the facts. What you are inserting is an established fact. Are you getting it? Yes. When an established fact itself comes there, what is the use of establishing it? Who will try to do this? Only an ajnani will try to do this. And his trial will be absolutely a total failure. Because an established factor cannot be established by that which is unknown, that which cannot do, that which has no capacity to execute. It's called Samkalpa. You got it? It's called will. Such persons, now you imagine. Now if that Samkalpa willed it, will it happen or not? It has to happen. Right? That is why we said Bhagavan willed it. Yes. So what all we said? The analysis of the Sankalpa, meaning of Sankalpa. Then, who does the Sankalpa? How he does the Sankalpa? Yeah. Then, the fourth question is, why does he do it? Why does he do it? Why he has not done it previously, or why he is doing it now? This is why whenever the mind and the faculty, the antakarana, is enriched with the jnanam of the Upanishadic and Vedic principles, or Brahma Jnanam, automatically the mind is inclined to accept the fact that it will have the thirst to have the sankalpa. When the mind has the thirst to have the sankalpa is inserted into the flow of the thoughts, so that the thoughts are stopped there. Only sankalpa enacts and inculcate into the mind. And so that the mind can, what is the purpose? Mind is struggling to get layam. I have basically, mind says, I do not have a characteristics, I do not have a capacity to have the layam into the Supreme Being, the unlimited, being posted or being engaged in the analysis of the unlimited. Okay. At a point of time, having fed up of analyzing and not finding a result, or finding results repetitively for a number of janmas, or some due to the experiences, the mind starts desiring. Let me put the word desiring. The mind starts desiring, I am doing a absolutely wasteful job, fruitless job, because there is no fruitful, concrete, evident, concrete, fruitful results that is happening, so that I could eliminate the Janana Marana status. I am keeping on doing it for a number of janmas, and unfortunately I am not able to do it. I am fed up now how to get layam into that which I do not have the capacity of. That point of time, mind looks for layam into that proven conviction, which is established factor of the jnanam, is why they thought of, that's the right time. Why? That's the right time. When the sankalpa is incorporated in mind, when it is ready for layam. And this readiness of layam will happen only when the mind renounces everything. Because it is agitated only because of the involvement of analyzing those apara vidya, involved into analyzing of those which are limited, involved into analysis of those which are not producing the right result for the liberation of the antaratma to the Atman, is when the mind starts thinking. So the mind has to come to that frustration. How to bring the mind into that frustration is through the tapasya, through the jnanam first of all, and through the tapasya and the upasana and the nityasana, where again the same I repeat, samarpana, upasana and nityasana makes the mind free from the involvement of constant agitation, analyzing by the informations received from the indriyas. is when the Sankalpa takes over the mind, is what's called Sankalpa, is why it is called as willed. When the mind is not there, that which is willed will automatically happen. That's why we said, he willed it, Bhagavan willed it. How the creation of the world, people ask, no, why the Bhagavan willed it, he said. We also explained in the Upanishad, it has been told, he willed it. How did he will it? The Sankalpa of Ishvara. In the Purusha, when he is in constant meditation, when the jnanam is in absolute jnanam, is always prevalent, because everything is always charate, it's always active. Energy is always active. It cannot be idle. When it keeps on functioning, what happens? When it keeps on functioning, in a Sankalpa it has come, there it is different, not the normal thoughts. There in that constant tapasya, through the constant tapasya, there are only Sankalpas. So in one Sankalpa which is very prominent and prevalent, which has inserted into it, was to create the Prakriti. It was willed by him, not created by him. You understood? Now you know the meaning of creation and willing. The Sankalpa, when it goes there, the mind gets diluted into the Sankalpa. Why? Because it's powerful. So the mind is not the one, so there present to create something. In order to create something which is known as an action, creating means an action. In order to do an action, there has to be a desire, there has to be a thought, there has to be a mind, and there should be indriyas. Then only an action can be projected. Right? So that's not an action. What is it? Bhagavan willed it. He willed it. We have told the language willed it. Willed it in the sense. There was a Sankalpa, automatically that Sankalpa automatically comes. Like in a mind of our mind, who got the knowledge of the Upanishadic knowledges and Vedic knowledges and the true spiritual knowledges, through the Guru and the Ashirvadam and the grace and the Kadacha is there, mind gets torn to the acceptance of the fact of the established fact, where no analysis is required, is when the mind is ready for accepting the Sankalpa to dissolve mind knowingly. Mind knows, I will get dissolved into it. He is prepared for that. Is why renunciation or vairagya is required. Vairaga. Non-attachment is called vairagya. Who gets attachment? Mind gets attachment. When the vairagya means, when raga is not there, vairagyam comes. When vairagyam comes, mind is ready for absorbing into the para vidya, which is ready for accepting the sankalpa. Is why that you do the sankalpa will happen. Will it. Is it clear, sankalpa? This is called will power. Now whether it has got power or not. The will only, there mind power we are not telling. Mind is powerful on one side, you are telling. Here you say, you should have willpower so that you can overtake the mind. Now you are getting the answer for it. Even our own small languages, common languages also is based on that. You should have willpower. How to have the willpower? Should have means you cannot buy it. This is how. So, what is it? Who is it? When is it and why is it? Has been explained. It should be absolutely understood in the clear sense. If that is not there, what happens? The will not be there. When the will is not there, inheritance of property will not come to you. Somebody has to write a will, no? The will is also same. Inheritance has to happen, see, then only you will get it. Will mein tumhara naam nahi hai. Bas, get lost. No? Don't take, it's not that willed, but when will I am talking, everything has to be incorporated. That is why I said that. Even that will also meaning this only. There has to be a will, then only it can be incorporated. If not, it can be distributed. Everywhere that will has been used. That's why the will has been used in many places. Even in a normal language, I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow is a Samkalpa actually, but not proper, appropriate way. What are you doing? You are making an established conviction. Whatever happens, it doesn't matter. It may be different, it may be difficult, it may be impossible, but whatever, I will do it. You see? It's also based on the principle of the acceptance of the established factor by the mind. When a firm conviction is done, the mind has to accept it. See? That's how influencing the mind. Well, this can be done through the tapasya, through understanding this jnanam, absorption of this jnanam with grace and kadaksha. Mind has to be dissolved into it. Then only the will be established in you. Then only you will have the willpower. Otherwise, there will be well power. Well, so Bhagavan says, so will is prior to general thinking faculty of the mind, he says. Prior to general thinking faculty of the mind. Exactly what I explained. This is what one sentence he gives here. So, Sankalpo Vava Manaso, the determination, superior, it is superior to his, yes, here. It's a creative in its character, is superior to ordinary thought. We have discussed about it. When there is a will or a determined activity of the psychological organ, there arises the general thinking of the mind. Then follows the expression thereof by means of speech. Everything that we utter or recite or chant is a form of speech. Well, all this we have incorporated in our introduction, I believe. So this is the gradation given so far. It's also known as a creative intelligence, he says. The will to maintain individuality is a power which distinguishes one element from the other. Otherwise, there should be a merger of elements and one element would not be different from the other. So this is the first shloka of 741, no? Then 742. The second shloka Bhagavan says here, Om Shanti. Tani Havaye Tani Sankalpai Kayanani Sankalpatmakani Sankalpe Pratishthitani Samaklupatam Dhyava Vrithivi Samakalpetam Vaishchakasham Cha Samakalpanta Pascha Tejascha Teshaha Samvalupe Varsham Sankalpade Varshasya Sankalpipya Annaha Sankalpade Annaya Sankalpade Pranaha Sankalpade Prananaha Sankalripti Mantraha Sankalpante Mantranam Sankalripti Karmani Sankalamte Karmanaha Sankalripti Lokaha Sankalapti Lokasya Sankalripti Sarvam Sankalpate Sayesha Sankalpaha Sankalpam Vasveti. It's a little longer. He says, the literal translation says here, exactly, we have explained about this. Those things that are thus, have will as their one goal, are identified with will, are established on the will. That's what they say, established fact. Heaven and earth willed, so it happened. This air and space willed, water and fire willed, rain wills in accordance with their will, food wills through the will of the rainfall, the vital forces will in accordance with the will of food, the mantras will in accordance with the will of the vital forces, the rites will in accordance with the will of the mantras, the result of the rites will be in accordance with the will of the rites. Everything wills in accordance with the will of the results. This as such is will, meditate on will, is what he says. I hope you got it. Yes. Heaven wills, earth wills, rainfall wills, then the annam comes. From the annam that is consumed by the person is also willed. No, it's not according to your choice. It is willed. Then the vitality comes, is willed. Then the process continues. Everything willed depending upon that will which is provided to you. Okay. Same way, the Brahman willed it, and the Jnanam, embodiment of the Jnanam has been created, Guru has been created according to the Jnanam, Tattvam has been created. And from that, the Jnanam, Shastras have been, Maha Rishis, Tapasvis and Jnanis have been given the willed with the Shruti, so they have written all this. And this is analyzed by the Jnanam, which is an embodiment of Jnana. That's also willed, it's not an intentional. The listener also willed it to listen. As I told you, the mana has to be inclined to accept the receipt of it. Otherwise what happens? Thousands of places, thousands of satsangs are going on. Thousands of people are explaining so many various principles. By now, I think all the people in the world should have got the information about it. Had their mind willed it, all of them would have got transformed by now. It has to be willed. The mind has to be toned to that. How can it be toned? Again, there are various factors for toning of the mind. One is based on the karma phala. Second is that the effort and the initiative one does during the life in order to rectify, while rectifying the karma phala, accepting or a great nobleman and listening to them, even though I do not have the knowledge. Where did we get the knowledge? As soon as we are born. So we have to listen to them or read or listen or get it from the jnanam, whichever is the embodiment of jnanam, once it is accepted, we should try to learn more and more of it so that the mind will get acquainted to executing the karma for the purpose of exhausting, not creating the karma balas, is a karma yoga. When the karma is executed without thinking, without analyzing it is as a karma, then it's not a karma, it becomes nishkama karma. When it is a nishkama karma, the mind is inclined to accept the reality of the acceptance of the conviction or the proven, established truth or the Brahman or the Jnanam. At that point of time, then tapasya is done, the vairagya is created. When the vairagya is created, mind is ready for the acceptance of the Samkalpa to dissolve the mind into the Samkalpa. Once that happens, then the tapasya goes on. Then constant meditation goes on and he goes into the path of the liberation for sure. So is why Bhagavan says, Bhagavan Sanatkumara said, "Hey Narada, there is nothing in this world, in all the creation, which is free from all a self-assertive will, a self-determining power." So, will is universal power. This self-assertive nature is found in every atom of creation. It is not that we are telling something new to you. Each and every cell in the atom has got the self-assertive nature is found in every atom of the creation. In every atom it is there. That's how our cells multiply in our body. How does the cells multiply? It is by its own characteristic. It splits and multiplies, is it not? It gets diseased, it gets healed. It produces, secretes like our endocrine system. Secretes hormones. How is it happening? They are all happening. It is not created by anybody. Is it not? So it's all willed. So every atom has got the capacity to create its own will. If that is the case, why not the mana? Mana is also a set of these atoms. Protons, neutrons and the electrons. Everything is based on that. As I told you always, earlier also I told you, every molecule in the universe has got a capacity to function by itself. And then that's how the revelation and then the creation has come. Same principle we are talking about it again. Here also, in our mind also, it is not that nobody can think about it. People who are illiterates, we talk about Kalidasa, we talk about others and things like that. Forget about that old days. Even today, people who are scientists, people who are great noblemen, everybody who has got an inclination and intention, or at least not a resistance to the truth, the atom will start functioning on that basis. So the karma bhalas will get exhausted. So one reason is that it is because of the karma bhalas, which is influencing the thoughts and the thoughts to the mind and the mind functioning based on that. While executing that itself, it is not necessary one has to complete that everything, then only we can go for something, so it will never happen. Because every karma he executed will have a result. Whatever said and done. Even if you may create a nishkama karma, it has got a karma phala. Yes. No karma is left without any karma phala. Well, then what happens? Mind, then what happens? In the case of nishkama karma, what happens? It has not accepted this as a karma phala. So even though a karma phala is created, that karma phala is not effective to him. It is creating a karma phala. It's not affecting to him, it goes to the universe. So when it is a nishkama karma, the individual principle doesn't apply there. Then he will execute a karma which has got no karma, nishkama karma, where there is no personal, individual requirement that we are talking about, personal requirements. So the karma will be identified as universal. When the karma is universal, karma phala is universal. So there is no sufferer, there is no enjoyer in that. Or let me put only enjoyer. There is no enjoyer in that. Because suffering is also enjoying. So this nishkama karma has to be done based on the, again, how? Ashirvad, that factors. There are so many people, they will, whatever you teach, whatever you tell, whatever they listen, they are adamant, I will not change. In our place, there is, when we were children, our teachers used to tell, for example, some boys are very naughty and all that. Every time they get a punishment. So the teacher, there was one good teacher was there. He used to tell a small story, which is very common. I mean, you won't find very good, but to the incident, it's appropriate, I think. So the teacher calls him. Why are you doing this every time? Come on, show your hand. Those days we can cane, no. Today you cannot touch the cane. Then you will be caned. The teacher will be caned. Those days it's not that. Hardika caned. Then he himself says, teacher says, what is the use of my caning you every day? It's no use. Go. Then he tells, I will tell you a story. Right? It seems those days, in the matriarchal system, the uncles used to be the head of the family. So they called the nephews, were all there. So one nephew was always very naughty. So the uncle called him and he is beating him, caning him. And the boy is shouting back to him, hey uncle, don't beat me, because whatever purpose you are doing it for, I will never change. So your effort of beating me has no purpose. Don't unnecessarily strain yourself, because I will never change, he said. So it's told in a rhyme in the story, but the purpose is that this man says, I will never change whatever you do. Such people will have to undergo the process of Janana Marana. That means repetition of mistakes who does, they will have to go on doing it. We getting an opportunity to listen to it is meant that God has willed for you, your Atma, to listen to this so that you get an opportunity to correct yourself. You get an opportunity to liberate yourself. Rest is your job, he says. But I will provide the opportunity. If you reject it, that's up to you. If you don't want to listen, even though the facilities have been provided, it is up to you, no problem. Yes. So you have to accept it. What do you think? Mind has to accept it as a principle, the Guru Tattva as a principle, and you must have the principle. When you accept the embodiment of the Jnana, the Guru is an embodiment of Jnanam, they said. That means it's a principle. When it is a principle, where is the question of so many gurus, or look for guru, or identifying guru, or good and bad of guru, where it comes to? Nothing, no? Because it's a principle, it's not an individual. When you look at a sharira and then only you will say, oh, this man is very short, 5 feet 6 inches, he cannot become a very good guru because he's not tall enough. He doesn't have a beard also, he shaves. Out of question. No guru can shave. Suppose somebody puts these conditions into the mind. I'm just telling you, I'm not joking. These conditions to the mind, how can they see the tattva principle in him? You remember, I'm not joking. Because in Upanishad, we wear these clothes and then give the talk in this Upanishad. So in US, about 4 years, 5 years, not 5 years, 10 years back, I think. Many people are watching this, many of known people are there, my own known people are there. Many of my students are there who are to practice Reiki and all that. So one lady called from New York at that time and told me, so when are you visiting? I said, I don't have any program as it is. Visiting. I am sitting, but I am not visiting. Then he said, suppose you come, will you be coming in this dress? What I am saying in this what her worry is that. She is very much worried. I think I must have told this earlier also. Will you come in this dress? I said, I do not know. Whatever dress is available with me at that time, I will wear it and come. Because I do not know what dress I will have at that time. Then she said, no, you must come in this dress. Then only it will be appropriate. Anyway, conversation extended. I don't want to continue with that. The purpose of my telling this example was nothing but the mind getting blocked by certain misconceptions. They're all there in our society. It is there. That's why I said pratishtha, pratishtito bhava. What is the pratishtha? Pratishtha, once it is done, then it is the tattva pratishtha that happens. It's a principle of Brahman that you have established there. When that is done, you will find this Rupa, as we said about the Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, automatically you will find the Rupa changing. Today's concept of this Rupa, what is there in your mind will change. The more and more you are, upgraded by the knowledge, updated by the knowledge and upgraded by the knowledge, your outlook, when the outlook changes, that what is being looked at changes. So Sanatkumara said, hey Devarishi, meditate on Samkalpa. Now, so much he said, now who can meditate on Samkalpa? What is Samkalpa itself is a big problem. Now how to insert it and include it. First of all, what to do Samkalpa? What Samkalpa should be? Let me think, hey Bhagavan. So many Sankalpas are there. I don't know which one is palatable to you and which is priority. You will approve and accept it very easily. Somebody chooses gods like that, and these some of the Pandits or some of the people who are writers have created problems. They said that Bhagavan Shiv is Chipra Prasadi and Chipra Gopi. As if he has visited his house many times. Chipra Prasadi. So they said, no, okay, Vishnu, it is a little difficult, he is very tricky with all kalas, he has got all, 16 kalas. So whatever kala you produce, he has already practiced and done it. Chor ke samne kaise chori karega? He will know. Huh? Yeah, he already, including chori, he is also chor hai. Chori also you cannot do in presence of him. It is very difficult to please him. So let us do Chipra Prasadi easily. So let me pray to Lord Shiva, Chipra Prasadi. We have choices, is it not? No. Who does all this, no? With Ajnanam, is it not? What is the difference between the Jnanam Shiva and Krishna, Lord Vishnu or Brahma. They are all Brahman, projection of certain feelings. We classify them as Chipraprasadi, Chipragopi and all that. No such qualities are there in them. The Lord doesn't have Kopa, doesn't have, so he is always Prasanna Prasada Arupa Avicharita. Avicharita. Anywhere, suddenly it appears. Is called the Lord. So, such qualifications, what happens is that the common people who are not into all this, no, they get influenced by this misleadings by many people who are writing such things, no, which is not right. Everybody is a Chipra Prasadi so long, you have got a clear concept, that's all. The Chipra Prasadam is based on your bhakti. What is bhakti again? Bhakti is again identifying the universal truth in the right sense, appropriately, and applying it on you is called bhakti. Nothing other than that. It's called devotion. Devotion, devoted. Is it not? So this application is very important. If that discipline is not applied in you, the universal discipline, with a firm conviction that it is the truth, the universal truth, acceptance of this with total conviction and application of it in you, if that is done, then it is bhakti. Otherwise, if you are talking to an individual and praying to an individual, it is not a bhakti, because it's only individual. The bhakti is that it's a universal factor. Its bhakti is that unless the truth and established truth, unless the established factor is inherited by you or established by you, without any analysis and without any doubt, with complete faith, is called bhakti. There is no there's no provision for any doubt. In bhakti, there's no provision for any doubt. There's no provision for any choice. That's why in Upanishad somewhere it is said how the bhakti has to be done. Nirlajje. What is lajja? Lajja will come only when you are conscious of your body and your mind. Nirlajja, one of the qualities of bhakti. I'm not talking all that. One is it, nirlajja. When lajja should not be there, no? That means your consciousness of yourself will not be there, then only it becomes a bhakti. That again comes to the principle of samarpana through the jnana. Only a jnani can do the nirlajja. Otherwise we have got no lajja. Even I have told number of times again, Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, great saint, also has explained in one of his autobiography that he got a new cloth on Jamai Shashti, did the Sashtanga Pranam, so he was little reluctant to do Sashtanga Pranam because his clothes will get dirty. See? He's become conscious. Now where is the bhakti gone? So let me do not Sashtanga Pranam standing and please accept my pranams. Email, please accept my pranams. Hey Devi Ma, because I got Jamai Shashti ka kurta. Even though jokingly said, He has become conscious of it. The moment he realized it is because of this, he was very, very disturbed that I did not do. Okay, it's a small thing. Do whether pranam or no pranam, in the mental level it is not useful. But his mind was, Bhagavan's Maha Sannyasi's mind was agitated. He says, why am I agitated? Because I did not do pranam, which I wanted to do. Because that makes him happy. That makes him concentrated. That makes him change. Fine, do it. What is there? Removed it and threw it out, he said. Nirlajja. Then did pranam. So, lajja. One of the greatest obstacles for the devotion. Many people do not know. They are very conscious. Even when they go to temples, all others are folding their hands and praying. Somebody is very conscious, somebody must be noticing them. So they will have to pose very correctly. When they look, others look. Suppose somebody is doing videography. How will I look in the video? So they have to. No, he has to tableau. Stand like that. It's because of the lajja only. They are all lajja only. They are all conscious of themselves, you see. That is not what bhakti is, devotion, devoted to it. I submit myself. Hey Bhagavan, I submit as it is. That's all. There's no lajja. To submit to Bhagavan, where is a question of lajja? So is that, so what happens? Hey Narada, hey Devarishi, therefore you meditate on will. Now you have told me so many things. Now how to meditate on will? It's a problem, is it not? Why, where, when, all classification has been done. I appreciate you. Your explanation is very, very much appreciated. But how can I do it, you tell me? Now, how can I do it, you tell me, is the biggest question, So the Guru said, better don't do it. So I have only told just for the sake of telling. That he did not tell. That here, Devarishi was totally different. It was not like other people. Okay? Devarishi was totally different. Devarishi said, hey Bhagavan, I understand. Very well understand. Why? Because you have already told me I have to create that pratishtha. I don't have to do an effort how to insert the Samkalpa, where to and why and how and when. Everything that comes to me, all my Samkalpa, will be submitted to that pratishtha. I have to know. This is what the first introduction I have done, so that this can be understood properly. I submit to that now. The dilution of the mana, or the application of the Samkalpa and implementation of Samkalpa, the pratishtito bhava, everything, let it happen there. Who am I, a limited person, to implement it and accept it and execute it? I do not have the capacity, so let it happen. Why? Because you are told that the Agni is willed, earth is willed, rain is willed, annam is willed. The consumption of annam is also willed. That is why we, in Hindi, that proverb is there. Dane dane pe. So that proverb. Why? The proverb is very correct, because this is also willed. Who will eat what is willed. So according to that will, the vitality comes in you, or the functions takes place. Everything is willed, but it should be based on so these are all natural willed. Now this is all willed by the Ishvara. Up to that is willed by Ishvara, so it happens. As I told you, he provides you the opportunity to listen to the jnanam, through Vedic and Upanishad, through a guru who is an embodiment of Jnanam, listening and application of that has to be done by you. Same way, all the facilities, look at it how beautifully the nature and the Prakriti and Ishvara has created. He has even told you each and every annam. He told you who will consume it, when he will consume it, and how it has to be consumed has been predicted and written and applied. Up to that extent it has been done. Now what you have to do is that, rest is only what you have to do. Can you do that? Can you imagine now? Everything has been done. That's why I said in the previous class, everything happens. Our thoughts also, it happens, is it not? Based on the previous experience. The thought karma bhalas, the thought happens. From that happens, to make it a happening or not to make it a happening is your job. That's all you have to do. The last point. To make it a happening in the sense, what I mean here is that whether to repeat the same mistake or to correct the mistake is only your job. Even that also is predicted. Yes. But then when you do it, what happens? The karma phala is also decided. If you do this karma, this is the karma phala. If you do this karma, this is the karma phala. Everything has been very specifically clarified and done. So Bhagavan said, reading all, as I told you, the Shastras reading will take 10 janmas. Reading. Understanding, forget about it. It is difficult. So what happened? Maha Rishi said, hey, Manava, can't do it. Voluminous. Have the mental faculty and inclination towards acceptance of the Brahma Tattvam. Said that, I can't do this voluminous job. Do the samarpana to the jnanam will be yours. So pratishtha has been done. Submit to that pratishtha or samarpana to the guru, to the jnanam, embodiment of jnanam. So he inculcates this jnanam into you without your initiation. So what happens? These cells which are supposed to have the self-activating force in each and every atom, in each and every micron, in each and every tanmatra, it is self-activating force is involved in everything. Each and every part of our body can, self-activation can be done. Yes, that's why each place has got different purposes. You touch, the fingertips has got more sensitivity than any other parts. The nerve ends had got more sensitivity. Clarified, So you can experience it through that. So what happened? That every tanmatra has got its own capacity to activate itself into something else. Activation is that whenever an activation takes place, there has to be a change, when an activation takes place. Same way, if you decide to have that activation done by an outside force, now this has got automatic activation. In the mind there is an automatic activation takes place so that the thought that is flown into the mana is analyzed by the experience of the indriyas and create a karma phala is also an activation. After listening to Shastras and Vedas through the Guru and having the blessings and the grace, Kadacha, executing that information of the thought by the mana, not by the physical experiences of the indriyas which are very low in aparavidya, which is low in the consciousness, or an objective experience, should be analyzed through the jnanam that has been imparted to you. So automatically it becomes a nishkama karma. This activation you are initiating there. So that even though every atom has got its own capability of self-activation capacity and transformation, it might take time. If I can give them some more powers or knowledge, no? Or things like that, you can activate it the way you want it. So what happened? You get rid of your karmas and karma bhalas. You get liberation. Very clear? Not clear? No. Still doubt is there, no? When you put sugar in the tea, whether it is in the hotels or in the house, they know that it will get dissolved, is it not? Sugar will get dissolved in water, it's truth. Why are you providing one spoon with that?
Make it dissolve faster. Make it dissolve faster.
With the spoon, what you do? The activation of those granules of the sugar is done faster. Even otherwise it will happen. Every human being, if he takes 84 janmas, gradually it will happen. Because that activation will take place. But when a spoon is provided, and jnanam is provided, self-activation can be, whose spoon has whose spoon doesn't get dissolved. Helps him to dissolve. Jnanam helps the tanmatras to activate itself faster, better, in the right way. Getting it? Is it correct? Sugar melting. Is it not beautiful? That example. How to understand it? Is how you are feeding the jnanam to the mana, so that mana get dissolved into. So what happens? Sugar gets dissolved. Mana gets dissolved into Sankalpa. Hey, Devarishi, please meditate on that. Do that. So he says, Bhagavan, I will do that samarpana to the Pradishta. I have already done of you. You are the great noble man, noble Guru, noble Tapasvi, noble Ishvara. To me, I will surrender it to you so that you dissolve it. He doesn't say that. He says, I have no. He says, don't. He doesn't say you dissolve it. It's only my way of expressing it. That's all. He says that I am incapable of doing it in a shorter time with all this. I surrender, submit. Dissolve me. Not only my Sankalpa and Mana. Dissolve me. You see? Something like that is what so Bhagavan Devarishi Narada says, hey Bhagavan, this is the result that follows from the meditation. What is the meditation here? To that extent he will be free, he will be successful, and he will enjoy the life. Yaha kamacharo bhavati. You see, everywhere the same thing. Yava kama acharo bhavati. Achara bhavati. Let it happen. So everywhere pratishthito bhava and things like that. This is the result that follows from the meditation on the content of the will to the extent it can reach. Narada, Devarishi Narada understood it very clearly. Now Bhagavan asks, what is he asking? Hey, Sankalpeta eva Sankalpa Sankalpamanu paswadete. Narada requests, is this all? Is it over? Or is there something more than will? Hey Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan Sanatkumara says, Devarishi, yes, there's something more. What is that? Surely there is something more than will, says Bhagavan Sanatkumara. So Devarishi says, please, hey, Reverend One, will you please have the kindness to tell me about it so that I will come out of my problem. What is that? May I listen to it, Bhagavan? to the great master. Please instruct me further. See, he says, please instruct me further beyond the will. Not that you help me doing it and all that. Please instruct me, I will do it. Like Nachiketa said, hey Bhagwan, please instruct me, rest I will do it. Show me the path. Show me the path. That's all. So please instruct me further. I'm explaining all these small words because our bhava when we are asking should be that. Because we are asking for, not for a matchbox. We are asking for Brahmajnanam. Yes. So the bhava should be according to that. In bhava bhakti, bhava is very important in bhakti. That bhava will bring lot of bhakti in you. Will initiate and request Devarishi Narada. So he goes to section section 5. Oh yes, this is another important chapter also. Everything is important. In section 5.1, Bhagavan says, what is the next one? Above the will. What is above? Chittam vava sankalpat bhuyo yada vai chetayeta tetha sankalpatyateta manasatyada vachamirayati tamu namnirayati namni mantrayegam bhavanti mantreshu karmani. Fine. I have explained the whole thing in Devarishi, but that is not enough. I had already explained about this in, I think in that itself, inherent meaning was there. Bhagavan says, what is Chittam? Chittam is the power of understanding. Yes. There's one school of thought says, Chittam is power of understanding. It's not a direct meaning actually. First let us understand Chittam, then we will go further. Is it not? What is Chittam? Chetana. You see? Chetanatma is it? You see, now you understand the problem of attachment. Chetanatma. Chetana. Chittam comes, or Chetana comes from the Chittam. Chetana. Chetana is what? Awakeness. Chetana. Consciousness. Even in normal language also, I think it is used sometimes that uska, what do you say? Some word was there, I forgot. Okay, forget. That's not very important. Chetana, Chittam. Chitta, even though they say that it is the power of understanding. Chetana is a noun. Chetana is a noun. It's not created. Chittam is also a noun. Chetana is a noun. Like Chetana of Chaitanyam. It's also Chetana, from Chetana, the Chaitanyam has come. Chaitanyam is that which is projected. When you have Chetana, when you have Chittam, when it is projected, unknowingly projected through the aura, this Chaitanya, the Chaitanya of that. It's a power of that Chaitanya. So these are all told. So one meaning is that in English they said the power of understanding, Chetana or Chittam. Chittam is not just understanding by force. Now what is called understanding? Chittam again. Your understanding, is it because of your capability? Is it because of based on your qualification of studies? You may be a doctorate in physics and chemistry, or medicine, or in whatever it is, art and science. Will it have better understanding in that person, or understanding in that person? He can understand the language better. Tattvajnanam I am talking about. You understand what I am differentiating it. I am differentiating it very firmly. That who is educated will have understanding of the subject better than the other. A doctorate in physics and chemistry is definitely much better than an MSc or a BSc science, is it not? Definitely, because he has done a research on that. He has done a particular subject, he has taken and did the research. He is very firm and knowledgeable on that. We have to accept it. On that subject can I call it as Chittam? Can I call it as his memory power? No. You understand? So, it is not simply the power of memory. That's why Chittam, Chetana. Whereas, on the other side, Todakashtakam, we said about Todagacharya. Supposed to be a bit dull student. Supposed to be. Among the group of Shankaracharya's 4 disciples. Bhagavan has given the grace. Bhagavan Shankaracharya, through the mind, transmitted the knowledge to him. His Chittam awakened. Immediately he has created the Todakashtakam. Chetana has come in him. Chittam has come in him. The power of understanding this is called power of understanding. Receptivity. I can put it the other way around. No? The receptivity. Am I correct in my language? Receptivity should be there. No? Capacity to receive it. Many words are there. Aisa nahi hai. This has been told by many languages many times. See, बोलता है कि जो receive करता है, he has to have patra. What is that? Receptivity. When you go to the ocean, you go with a glass, you will get only one glass of water from there. So the patra should be big, receptivity should be high, acceptance capability should be high, receptivity should be high. When the receptivity is high, the power of understanding will be high. It's nothing connected with the physical education of it. Education is only a training for us to practice it during that particular era. After this era, the next era, this is no more valid. Chittam is always same. Chetana is always same. Am I right? This is what is called Chittam. So don't understand it, just the power of understanding. How can you get this power of understanding? Not by reading big books, not by acquiring great university qualifications of various physical subjects. Yes, it is valid, it is for a different purpose. Whereas Chittam is, I am talking about the Chittam. Okay. I am not degrading those qualifications or educations. Definitely they are valuable, no doubt. But that is not Chittam, that is not the power. That man need not have a power of understanding, it is not necessary. Great scientist who has invented and won the award of the, Padma Bhushana, not necessary that he has got a power of understanding. Whereas Todakacharya has got a power of understanding. Within a fraction of a second, recited Todakashtakam, and he has told about the creation of the universe and the existence of the universe. The complete knowledge of the universe has come into him. It's called Chetana, Chaitanya. the power of understanding. So he said, Chittam Vava Sankalpat Bhuyo. More than the Sankalpa. Sankalpa itself is very high. You know that now. It's established factor of the truth. It's not. Remember those words? Now the established fact of the truth is there, provided that as it is there. And it's also willed. It's all there. Even though it is willed, you should have the capacity to receive it. Receptivity should be there. So many stories I have told about this. But still, at the appropriate time, certain stories will just easy. Mata Parvati or mythological stories. Nowadays stories are there that I don't want to tell because it's little problematic. So, mythological story, when you go there, Mata Parvati told Bhagwan Shiva, hey Bhagwan, you are very cruel. You are telling that you are Trikaldarshi, you are very kind to your Bhaktajana and all that, but I don't find any of these qualities in you. Naturally, Prakriti is sitting by the side always, doesn't know the quality of Bhagwan. Achha. What do you want? Look at them. That one old man and old lady, every day poor things praying to Bhagwan. Hey Bhagwan, always absolute devotees. It's what externally it looks. Mata says, why don't you see? Poor old man, how long he will live? He'll die. Before that, at least give him something. I say, Achha. You think that if I give, he will take it, he will accept it. My giving is a problem. Okay, I will sort out your problem, don't worry. These both of them, they went to the river to have a bath and they were coming back. So while coming back, because they were very poor, had nothing to eat and all that. Gada full of coins, gold, and precious diamonds and all sorts of wealth. Kept, not that dug inside the pit and all that. Kept on surface of the road. That's only path. Because not the road those days, no, walk path is there, so in between the grass. So when they come back, he will see it and let him take it. Are you happy? Mata said, I am happy. Fine. Okay. He closed his eyes and went to Tapasya, Bhagwan. These both of them are coming from the river after having a wash. Suddenly there is a doubt in the wife's mind. Suppose, Swami, both of us go blind at one point of time, because we are already, cataract is there, cannot see properly, but suppose both of us go blind, how will we survive and how will we walk? So the man said, okay, hold my hand and let us practice it. They practiced. Automatically what happened? Wherever the Gada has kept, they went out of the path, and after that they came, and almost they came near the house and they opened eyes. They were very happy. Why no? They reached the house. Achha, dekha, we can do it. Even if you are blind, we can do it. So Bhagavan asked, now, did I do anything? Understanding, that means you should have the receptivity should be there. Giver can't give anything. Receptivity should be there. It's called the power of understanding, not understanding. The power of understanding. And not, what is understanding again? Understanding is that the right thing at the right time, at the right way has to be accepted is called understanding. The other is called misunderstanding. That's word, misunderstanding is that, misword. Misunderstanding, the other one is known as misunderstanding. This is called understanding. I think we will explain about this next class. So you have enough to contemplate. Sankalpa is there. Chittam, the meaning of Chittam completed, we'll continue. Om Shanti.